The following podcast may be explicit. One Joe Young presents Adventures from the Shed, a tabletop RPG podcast. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com. The group is now together and have headed to a local business that used to be a grocery store in order to investigate on behalf of the White Council. We begin to see our characters in action and learn more about Dresden Files Accelerated. Enjoy the podcast.
And welcome to The Shed for Adventures from the Shed. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com on, let's go a different order this time, TuneIn Radio, Podbean. We're hosted on Podbean. You can find us there. We're on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google+, Bing, all over the place. Just search for us online. That's Adventures from the Shed. And you'll have at least one or two pages of results where you can find us all over the place. I think Mickey's going to try and prove me right at this time as we get started. Speaking of Mickie, we're going to go around the table and say hi, starting with...
Hey, everyone. This is Mickie. Are you ready for Mora the Same?
Mora... I thought it was the same.
The Same. Okay. Mora
right.
the Same. She is our hunter. Hunting is the family business, but times are changing, and she needs to keep up with it. Her favorite motto is, if force isn't working, you're just not using enough.
Cool.
Go on, sir.
JJ here. I'll be playing Cletus Fitzhammer, and he is a warden that is basically the law for the wizarding community.
I am the wizard law.
I am the law!
Wizard law.
All right, Judge Dredd.
Hey, Wizard Judge Dredd.
Wizard law. This is Kurt. I'm playing Jamie Anderson. I am a son or a part of a wealthy upstate family, but I am a bit of a loner who loves to be in the woods, and I also happen to be the Earl King's huntsman.
Cool.
This is Chris. I'm playing Victor Bartok. He's the guy that's trying to be the knight in shining armor, but he's currently on the line of being the Dark Prince.
He's kind of like the prince in tainted armor.
Yeah, it's a little dirty.
He's a little dirty.
Nothing wrong with a little
buff
dirty.
out. He's hoping it'll buff out.
And I am Joe. I am the game master who will provide the buffing if his armor ever gets clean.
Oh, shit. Is that kind of relationship?
He'll take the buffing. We are continuing in our game of Dresden Files Accelerated, which at the time of this recording is still a new game, just been out for a month or so. And we are delving into it as a learning experience. We are doing, I think, almost literally zero prep in between sessions and in between recordings. We are really learning this game as we go. Now, normally, Mickey's giving me this look. We normally do about 5% prep.
Okay.
We're about 0 this time. To where I'm comfortable saying, although we have copies of the PDF, we all do, and we now have the hardcover book on the table, none of us has read it cover to cover. Okay. So, 0. None of us knows all of the rules, and we're learning them as we go, which you, the listener, have probably noticed in our last several episodes. We are now on episode 6 of this Dresden Files Accelerated game, and to give us a recap of how we started our first adventure last time, I think Kurt wants to step up to the plate using his notes and his intellect.
Yes, I'll be using...
I won't say memory.
I was going to say, I'll be using... what's the intellect one? Focus?
Intellect?
It is intellect, Kurt. There is an approach called intellect. All right, so clearly Kurt won't be using his intellect.
I'll be using my intellect approach. No, so we started off the game with Cletus receiving a note that told him... and it was a note from the Wizards... from Marcus on behalf of the Wizards Council, I think?
Correct.
That he and his friends were to find the Earl King's hunter.
The Steve Urkling.
Right, Urkel.
Did I do that?
That could be your catchphrase.
Kill it with
Jamie.
fire.
So,
Sorry.
Cletus called his old friend Mora, who contacted Father Victor, or Vicky as she likes to call him. And
only I can call him that.
Yeah, that's true.
Father Vicky. That is the combination.
They went together, and Cletus conducted a ritual in a local public bathroom using
Victor was urinating at the same
the
time.
Google Maps on Mora's phone. And the point of the ritual is to find...
At least. Jesus. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's just people love...
He's about that life.
Yeah. You're doing good, Kurt. You're accommodating our assholeness.
Now I've got golden showers in the bathroom stuck in my...
baptism by shower. What? Okay,
this is what happens when I don't drink, and Mickey starts at 9 a.m.
Is that frustrating?
I'm just happy she got her hair done. So.
Nice. And here we are in our third hour of this fine recording. And Kurt, I think, has gotten almost
man.
2 sentences out of the recap. But go ahead.
It's all good. So Cletus is conducting his ritual, used Mora's phone, the point of which was to locate the Earl King's hunter. They did not know who the Earl King's hunter was, but Mora had a friend through the Monster Hunter community that got a last name of Anderson and a general location. And combining that with the ritual, they located Jamie at a local restaurant called the Lazy Goat.
Please follow the highlighted route.
Exactly. Jamie, after having having his soul looked into deeply by Cletus.
You guys had a moment?
We had a moment, and then I quickly left because I realized that obviously this motley crew must be supernatural or related there too. And we left together. Cletus, no plosives.
That was some lawyer speak there. There too.
Oh, all right. JJ had this look pointing at Kurt, and I was wondering what it was. But go ahead.
Cletus then used some of his cop research to find. We knew we were going to Greer, but he had to find something where something unusual was happening, and we worked our way to a standalone commercial building that was had been a Food Lion and is trying to become a Gold's Gym. Long story short, Cletus used his third eye special power and saw the kind of the mystical nature of the place overlaid onto reality. He saw cemeteries and homeless people. Mora then used her super smart brains and figured out that there must be one or more zombies that have been summoned back from the dead inside the store. And that is where we left off.
Cool. So we are outside of that store as we pick up this episode, and I will give a quick recap of the scene you find yourself in. You're outside of what used to be a Food Lion store. Gold's Gym is trying to occupy the building, and they have been sending contractors, and according to the police reports that Cletus received, when contractors show up, there's always something that kind of steers them away. And another thing that has happened in the area that is causing people to look and notice what's going on. One of the reasons the police have been called is there's that construction it's right on the other side of the Sonic where the cherry limeades came from. And it is, if you looked at an overhead view, it might on a map it might still be empty. The hybrid view or the satellite view rather than just the map. But there's a storage building going up there that's, I think, going to be 3 stories. So this little bit of stuff going on in the area has caused more people to look, has drawn attention, and that's one of the reasons why the council has asked Cletus to investigate with this new group, this new motley crew of people. And
no relation.
No relation. Outside of the building are these vehicles from the construction company, ABC Contractors, that they've probably been there for a few days. The tires are flat. In the building itself, when you look in, you don't see anything except for some old fixtures from the supermarket. And with that, you don't. There's nobody moving around. The question was there. Walking around the back of the building, you notice electricity was on, the meter's moving, some kind of compressors are running for some kind of cooling or air conditioning units. And with that, you guys are now outside of the building, wherever you want to be, somewhere in the parking lot, around the side. Of course, they have delivery areas because it was a supermarket, and there's plenty of things to investigate. The key word there being investigate. And one of the things I do want to call attention to is when we talk about how some of the rules work in the game. You'll want to look at page 184. Starts with the challenges. The challenge is essentially, this is the whole scene. This is what's going on in the scene. Mm-hmm. And then within the scene is a contest. And the contest is a non-violent interaction. Okay, so it's when two things are interacting, neither meaning to cause harm to each other. There are examples like a car chase would be one, where you're just looking or trying to catch somebody, not necessarily hurt them. And then the other is, aside from contests, the other is conflict. And the conflict is where bad is meant to be done to the other side. It's a fist fight. It's a violent interaction of some type.
You wish to visit harm.
Yes. So with that, you guys are outside. And now it's time to start actually doing more investigation on the scene. So you know that little bit of what I said with the vehicles outside with flat tires and air conditioning running or compressors running of some type, and the building appearing empty. And we're going to say still that we're in the middle of the day. We'll say 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon. in June, bright sun, 90-something degrees out, a little bit humid maybe?
So I know that it's a high probability that this has something to do with zombies.
Mm-hmm.
So I would start investigating the doorways and windows because my hunter's knowledge suggests I've got an inkling that in order to contain spirits, you need some sort of barrier that they can't just easily pass through.
Okay.
So that would have to be created artificially if this building is going to house a lot of spirits. So I'd start looking for something like that.
So you're going to look at what, entrances?
Entrances.
Okay.
So front door, side doors, back doors. So looking for any special runes or some sort of barrier enacted to keep these spirits in this building.
As you get close, and at least for now, I'll presume everybody is nearby and able to watch what each character is doing. When you split up, let me know. For now, everybody will be nearby. As Mora approaches any of the entrances, within about 5 feet of the entrance, you just don't want to be there anymore, and you just move on to the next one.
Heebie-jeebies. Oh, really? So
Yeah.
something that deters me from being there.
Yes.
Would I have noticed that? Or is
You
it
kind of get
subconscious?
more of a feeling as Mora approaches. This feeling in your head is like, no, this isn't the right door, and you just move to the next one. And everyone else is seeing that as she gets within about 5 feet or so of the main door, she just turns and moves on to the next door. Like the main moving doors, then she moves on to the one that pushes open, and then moves on to the next side. But probably in your head, it's more along the lines of, this isn't it. Maybe something else.
So to me, there's nothing awry, but someone else may
Not
have
necessarily,
observed
yeah.
something weird. Do you guys observe? Do you guys
Yes.
pick up on that?
Yeah, I'm going to assume that this is warded in some way.
Okay.
And I would like to detect the magic that is powering such a warding.
Are there other people around outside?
Only insofar as people are driving past. JJ actually had held up a picture of the building in the parking lot. It really is pretty empty because there's nothing occupying that area. It's a big parking lot. Now, 200 feet to your left, if you're facing the front of the building, 200 feet to your left or so is a firehouse. People are walking in and out of there. Behind you, about 300 feet to the right, is the Sonic, where your cherry limeades came from. And behind you, about 300 feet or so, directly behind you is Wade Hampton, which has thousands of cars a minute passing by.
Yeah.
So it's a busy area, but where you are, nobody's noticing
It's deserted. No one really goes in there.
Yeah, there isn't anybody, outside of the 4 characters, there isn't anybody you can see within a few hundred feet. And nobody's paying attention to you.
So while Mora is looking, Jamie, not making a big deal out of it all, just quietly kind of behind, pulls his concealed carry Glock 30S subcompact out, hands it to Victor.
Okay.
Opens his messenger bag, pulls out his .45 Colt that he uses as sidearm when he hunts. And then in the bag, he's got a backup for hunting backup.
Of course.
For boar, in particular. And then pulls out like a 6-inch blade, 11, 12-inch survival knife, and asks Cletus if he needs it.
So you're arming up.
I mean, just quietly, I'm assuming you don't have a firearm on you. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I'm offering it to you. And
I'll take it.
And I'm offering him a knife.
Father Vicky, would you like a gun?
Oh, I take it. Yeah.
One does not
So
turn
Cletus,
down gifts when they
do your
come.
people know we're here?
So that's a...
Yes, the White Council is aware that we are investigating the disturbance. However, they do not know
No,
where.
I mean
their disturbances.
your other people, since we were inquiring.
My
The
other
police, you
people?
mean?
Yeah.
The police.
No.
I don't want to run
So you
into any
didn't tell
imperial
Amy that you were
entanglements.
going to check it out?
No.
Okay.
You don't want to run into any imperial entanglement.
Yes.
I like it.
I do like that reference. Thank you, Chris. So aside from that, no. It isn't publicly known that you guys are here. However, from all appearances, there is something that probably knows that there is someone outside.
Oh, wow. Okay, so reading the rules.
Yeah?
My silver sword hammer in this case. You possess one of the weapons of a warden, crafted especially for you and enchanted with a counterspell that unravels mystical protections, such as wards and defensive spells.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go near the door, the wards or whatever would fall away?
What I'll do is I'll summon the hammer, and what that looks like is I just kind of drop my arm to my side, and it it just kind of materializes in my hand, and I'll just do with underhand toss, just throw it through a window.
Wow. You're just going to... You want to cause attention.
But B&E
then
was
that
more
would
her
work.
thing.
Right?
And we're trying
It's
to...
not how to cause attention.
It's a
You're gonna
busy road.
break
You're
the
going to.
window, and people
The-
are going to hear it
From where?
from all around you. I mean,
500
the
feet away
the sound
with
of shattering
sound of
glass
traffic?
carries.
Yeah, but people
There are
driving
people
by
closer.
would notice that you just.
No, people that are close. People
People
just,
that drive
just
through
walked out of
Sonic or
Firehouse.
hanging
people that
outside
drive
of
through at
Sonic,
Sonic. Yeah. I'm just letting you know you can do this, but shattering glass will be heard by people within.
Wouldn't
a few
that be
hundred
his?
feet.
Would that be something he would do?
No.
Maybe
but-
just walk up to it and with your.
It doesn't. Okay.
You can do it if you want to do it.
Yeah.
No, it just doesn't make sense that people would hear it.
Gordo, there's
Shattering
a
glass makes a lot of noise.
and there's a
Especially
Sonic
a giant
right
hammer
there.
flopping around on the ground.
I know where it is, Len. I know exactly where it is.
Okay.
Just saying.
All right. Well,
I have
in
no problem with you calling attention to yourself. Really.
in that case, I'll walk up and tap it. Then
Okay.
tap the door.
Tap 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 tap.
And I am going to use this as a roll because it is a strong opposition to what you are doing.
Okay.
I am curious, is there anything on there about using it as a roll and what approach you might use?
I get a
automatically?
+2 to defenses against these things.
Okay, so then you need to describe what approach you're using
So,
so we know what roll to have.
it's sheer determination. So I imagine just focus.
Okay.
I'm powering through the world. The ward.
Okay, and because this ward was put in place by somebody, I'm going to make an opposing roll. This
I
is
almost
going to
picture
be
it
a
like
contest.
an arm wrestling battle, where one walks up, you ready? The other one walks up.
much.
Like, let's
Yeah.
go.
So
Let's do
I,
this.
I have a +6. I have.
Okay.
Whoa! You went the
Assuming I'm doing the rules correctly, I have a focus of +3. I have a net +1 from my roll,
Mm-hmm.
and the +2
when
from the sword.
using your hammer in
From
this
using
case,
the
right?
hammer.
Well,
you
I have
went over the thumb.
yeah, I have a 4. My
So-
net result is a 4, so you succeed.
Okay.
And you're going above and beyond.
Well, I
you-
guess style.
Well, I was going to say I'll give you the option of this or something else you choose, but you can choose to deactivate the ward without notifying who put it there, or something else of your choice.
I will deactivate the ward without anyone noticing.
Okay. Because that's what I wanted to make it, so that you could enter without
Yeah.
necessarily being known. But
Raising
you
the
could-
alarm.
Yeah. And so that pick a door in the front, the main door, one of the side doors.
Yeah, the actually the cart return door.
Yeah, I
Okay.
was going to say.
There you go. Nice. So the cart return door, you know now that it no longer will keep people away from entering it. So you're now free to enter. What? Hey, what's the marching order of the party?
So was that? I know it was keeping
Roll
people
initiative.
out, but was that keeping something in too?
I don't know.
We're about to find out.
Wards are indiscriminate.
Got a spare mag for this thing?
Sure. Got one spare mag.
All right,
Nice.
So how many bullets is that?
20. Well, technically 21 if he's got one in the chamber, which I assume he would.
Plus
Chris-
another
Chris knows
20?
weapons.
Plus another 20, so you've got
So he's
four-
got it's 10 round mag, but one in the chamber, so 11 in the gun and another 10 to go.
21 rounds.
All right.
Slim.
I've got what
Slim
two
monster.
2 9s.
That's 40
strapped
caliber,
to my
right?
back.
45, I thought. Unless you want 9s. And what do you want to do?
I don't know. What would I want? What would I carry? What would a monster hunter carry? Stopping power.
It
plus
would need to be concealable under a jean jacket.
correct.
Most likely, you have hollow points.
What's the size of the character?
Silver bullet.
She's about my height, so 5'6".
You
Carry like two
Thinking
Glock,
like-
ni-
You're
you get
like
like two
5'6"
Glock
and a half.
19s and have 16 rounds in both.
Would that fit
And you
under
can
a jacket?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And technically, you can put the 17 round mags and they stick out a little bit. So technically, you can go 18 rounds in both.
So
if you
what
want.
I was picturing, and I don't know if these are real or not, but in the like the Matrix or whatever, the ones that are smaller than Uzis that look like pistols that are still automatic.
like Mac 10s or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Better
picturing.
just
The
drop 'em
Monster
when they're
Hunter.
done.
Right?
Yeah, we
yeah.
drop them when you
Yeah.
spend them.
New York Reload.
I was going to say, you better do a lot of reloading.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's to me, that's what I'm picturing for Mickey's character. That she's going to grab 2 guns from behind
All
her
right, so
back. and
let's
it's
give her. We'll give her the Glock 18s, so they're full auto.
There you go.
And then
Make sure you
18
note
rounds.
that.
2 Glock 18s.
Oh man, you can
You can't use the 33
revise my
round
guns.
magnums. Yeah.
If I've got the wrong guns, you just
No, it's fine.
tell me what I should-
If your guy's the 45 guy, that's what you
I have this urge to like
figuring
spit
you wouldn't necessarily
right
get
now.
as good a shot as I am. I thought the subcompact might be easier for you to use. That's what I was
it's whatever.
thinking. Whatever.
So I've got 2 Glock 18s.
He's a priest, after all.
With how many
He
shots
might be a
per
monster.
mag?
Ooh.
We'll say 18 because we don't want to go crazy. You can get the 33 round mags, but let's not be crazy. You got to be hiding the shit. If you're hiding the stuff.
Yeah, well, we're in a world
So that's
where
36
magic,
plus 1 in each. So
werewolves,
Well,
and
it's
mythology.
17 in a
38.
mag, so you
We've
got
gone
18 in the
crazy.
gun.
So 36 per, and then 1 extra clip per.
It's up to you.
All right, I like
It's
it.
another 17 in the mag.
Yeah. As far as I'm aware, there's no counting ammunition, but it's cool to know.
Yeah.
Okay,
Now,
sorry.
we might find out that that's the reverse. Now, here's the question again. What's the marching order? Who would go first? You guys have only known each other for a few hours
Yeah,
as a group.
I'm going first.
Okay.
I don't trust Vicky,
Yeah.
and I don't know
He called me, though.
Jamie.
Yeah.
I tolerate you. Like I trust you
Yeah,
so
yeah,
far
yeah.
as long as you stay in line. But there's a part of me that fears that you're going to stray.
Yeah.
And I don't know Jamie well enough, so I would be behind both of you. So kind of like a sandwich. Would you guys be okay
All
with
right,
that?
so maybe him up front, me, you in the middle, and then her behind.
Yeah.
Think of this from D&D terms. You put your wizard up front. Oops. Right? But this isn't
We're
D&D,
going into
so
a warded room.
we're good. Yeah.
He's got a hammer.
Well, he already cast the knock spell. Now you can let the fighter go first, right? All right. So you go in the cart door, and I'm gonna describe it as such, whether the building is like this or not. The cart door is kind of 2 sections. The bottom where you can push the carts through, and then the top, which moves. Well, the top is bolted shut from the inside with a deadbolt, so you've got to duck as you go in.
Yep.
There are no other carts in there now, and because of your plus to roll, I'm just going to let it click open as well.
Okay.
It was locked, but you clicked it open. Part of the ward
that's
was
fine.
keeping the lock set, and you undid that. So it clicks open, and as you walk in, there must be some motion-controlled lights in the cart area, because as you walk in there, that small, I say small area, is probably 40 feet deep, 15 feet wide, accommodate a few rows of carts. That lights up, but the rest of the store, there's no lights. It's still daylight. It's still bright in there, but there's darkness as you head towards the back of the store. But where you've just walked into, something activated lights. Again, think of grocery stores still, because that's the way we're going to play this building. Towards the front are counters and stuff that held cash registers and the conveyor belts for checking out. As you look at the store from the front to the right would have been a produce section, and then there's some refrigerated or freezer compartments all the way around the outside, and then just empty aisles in the middle where the fixtures are still there, but no produce or no product on any of the shelves.
There's like a random canned good on the floor or something still.
There is now. What's in it? What does the label say?
It's green beans.
All right. There's a random green bean, French-style green bean can in the cart area.
In the green giant.
I'll check it out, see what the date is on it. If it's good, I'll use my little P38 can opener and open it up.
If
you
there's
go.
dents,
You
don't
got
open
some
it.
green
'cause
beans.
It's got
All right, I'm just
pocket.
kind of drinking them out of the can.
It definitely has dents.
All right, that's
Don't
fine.
don't eat it. It's got botulism.
No, that's fine.
It actually
I've had
says-
worse.
It says right in the ingredients. First one is botulism.
Oh, that means that's the number
Second
one
ingredient is green beans.
Ooh, extra botulism.
Yes. So you're in that area now, and the store's kind of open, and you can. The only noise from inside the store is the humming of refrigeration and air conditioning units, and it really every noise you make, it sounds like you're in a cavern. There's the sound that just echoes through the
The
different
slurping
aisles
of the green beans out of the can.
Yes. The sound kind of dies out relatively quickly, but not without echoing several times over. Yes.
All right.
There's
So
the sound of a priest vampire slurping tainted green beans. That would be another cool show title if it weren't so long.
So moving stealthily, that would be an approach with guile.
It would be an approach with what you decide.
Focus pop.
Exactly.
No, it'd
So
probably be
you
guile.
decide which
Focusing on
approach
misdirection.
you're taking, and then we see what number that matches up to on your sheet.
Guile fits the best.
I have
'cause
crazy ninja powers.
Guile. No, actually, Mickie, if you would go ahead. Those are short descriptions. Let's revisit them again because we're about to use some approaches.
So 6 approaches define how you can accomplish an action. With flair, an action that draws attention to you, replete with style and panache. For example, delivering an inspiring speech to your army, embarrassing your opponent in a duel, or producing a magical firework display. With focus, it's a time-consuming action in which close attention is paid to detail so the task is properly executed on the first attempt. For example, lining up a long-range sniper rifle shot, which, by the way, we just broke the road, Canadian broke the road record. Anyway, attentively standing watch or disarming a bank's alarm system. Force, a display of brute strength rather than subtlety. For examples, wrestling a troll, staring down a werewolf, or casting a powerful magic spell. With guile, an effort focusing on misdirection, stealth, or deceit. For example, talking your way out of getting arrested, picking a pocket, or feigning a sword fight. Haste, a dexterous movement with alacrity. For example, dodging a sight, landing the first punch, disarming a bomb as it ticks down from 3, 2, 1, moving on. With intellect, quick thinking, the solving of complex problems, or accounting for numerous variables at once. For example, code breaking, outwitting a fey courtier, or counting cards in a poker game.
So thinking of those, and speaking of which, those are on page 100.
Of the
so anyone
PDF.
who wants to reference, on page 100 actually shows you those descriptions again. This is how I want to play the game, and I think it's the intent that you describe your approach to the situation. And since these things are labeled as approaches, you're describing how you're going to do it, and then we fit that into which approach name works. So guile being, to me, is all about the kind of deceptive. You're trying to do something so people perceive it differently. So in this case, who are you trying to fool if you're going to use guile? And I don't think you know who you would be trying to fool, so it's kind of weird for me to think that. But convince me is really what it comes down to. If you want to use your highest number, because everyone starts with something as a +3, describe it that way, and then that's what works. How do I use focus? How do I use force to approach this? Whatever it may be, I'm always open for it. I just want to hear it described.
So yeah, with if I could use focus, then what I'll do is I'll concentrate on making sure that my feet are picking a path that remains clear, and that I'm bringing my foot down with the whole of my foot, and that way I don't get any of the squeaking of the rubber or anything like that.
Okay. The to that point too, as is typical of a regular grocery store, the whole floor is tile.
Yeah.
So it's slick. There is definitely some dust on the floor, not a lot of debris. There wasn't anything before we found the green bean can. But there may be other stuff around, of course, as needed.
So looking at the dust then, is there disturbances? Like there's been movement in here?
So let's start with, you guys are inside now. Are you all trying to stay quiet?
I wasn't necessarily, because I'm opening up a can of green beans and slurping and eating it from them.
I believe that.
Stealth has been my
So what are we
friend
looking for?
years. Anything out of the ordinary.
So in this case, is anybody actually attempting to not be detected?
I am
wasn't.
attempting to not be detected.
So let's do a roll on that, because that is actually a contest against somebody who may be trying to detect you.
So with the Monster Hunter, anonymity helps.
So you do the same. What approach would you be using? We heard how Cletus would be using focus to do this.
Whoa.
Whoa.
I can guarantee that Cletus has exceeded the number. And I don't know, Chris, if you can see how I'm rolling over here, but you're welcome to see. I'm using the tops of the dice.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I definitely.
Yeah, guys are so screwed.
Yeah. You are so
Oh, you need-
screwed. What you got?
So go ahead, explain.
Yeah.
Explain what you got.
Oh, I got 3 pluses on my roll.
Okay.
With my +3 from focus, that is a fantastic.
It is. That goes up there. Now,
No, it literally is a fantastic. A
but
+6 is a
that's
fantastic.
only compared to my number.
Oh,
right?
gotcha.
So my number is a 4,
Ah,
so that you are taking a certain amount of way. Right.
if we have a power that adds a plus to a roll, do we get to roll and then decide to use the power, or do we have to say I'm using my power? And
You can always roll and decide to use your power.
So I can roll and then say I want 2 more. I'm going to use my crazy ninja powers.
Yeah, but I think some of it may depend on how it's written too, because it may tell you that you're using this with your roll, or it may tell you that you can add this after your roll to make it better. A fate point specifically you can use after your roll.
Like for example, a couple of mine say mark a box of wild power to gain +2, on any use of the guile approach while hunting or stalking someone.
Right.
And it goes on, but it doesn't
So like
say
that
before
one,
or
I
after.
would say that you would want to use that. It seems like you would use that when you make the roll. The way it's written, it sounds like you would use it when you make the roll. I am using my crazy ninja-ass power to do this thing right now. Instead of, I'm going to try this, I wasn't good enough, well, then I'll go crazy ninja-ass on it. To me, it doesn't sound right. But that's me. All you have to do is convince me otherwise, and you get it. You know that.
I'll see if I can find out.
Yeah. Mickie.
Okay, so we are in marching order. Cletus.
Well, right now, you're kind of all inside the cart area. I was just curious who was going in the building first to see what that looked like. But you might be just in a group, like we're sitting here, within 5 or so feet of each other, just kind of looking around the place.
How is the lighting in here?
Where you're standing is well lit. Some motion-activated light lit up the cart area when you
Okay.
walked in.
Gotcha.
Aside from that, the store itself is probably operating on those couple of little spotlights over emergency doors.
Okay, gotcha.
But there's daylight coming in the big glass front wall, and the grocery store itself, towards the back edges, just gets darker. Nothing is pitch black, but it's darker.
Gotcha.
Okay, so knowing that there's potential for some zombie activity, seeing what happened already with Cletus and him breaking down the wall.
Whatever you want, just not
I
fits.
would definitely be on edge.
Yeah.
So I would want to use...
Are you feeling some despair?
Am I feeding you? Is that what you're saying, Vicky?
That's
I
something I
would
want to
use
explore too.
focus to
Okay.
kind of pick my way through the area, making sure that I don't bump into anything to make
Okay.
any unnecessary
So you're
noise or draw
Kind
attention.
of like the way JJ described it for Cletus. You're paying specific attention to where you're walking and where your feet are stepping, so you're not making squeaks with your combat boots. You're wearing combat boots,
Of
right?
course.
Of course. And not stepping on
Nani
anything.
versus Lara Cross.
There you
That's
go.
what she looks
All
like.
right.
The who? What was the first name?
Nani from Lilo and Stitch, the sister, the older sister.
So remember, I already had a number of 4, and that's what you're rolling against. So what do you
Dismal.
end up?
For those at home, I rolled 2 +2s and 2 minuses, which cancel out.
Yep.
My natural force is at, focus is at a +3.
Okay,
so it didn't work.
This is one of those where, as you step a little further into the store, there's that obnoxiously loud squeak that everyone in the stadium stops and looks at that basketball player because it squeaked way too loud. And it's just your group at this time, but everyone, there's just the cavernous feel of an empty grocery store with echoes off of every aisle's fixtures. You just hear this squeak that is practically a whistle, like a referee's whistle for a few moments, and then the sound dies away, and you're left with people staring at you.
Can't
So
believe you even
just-
snuck up on me.
Just for the party, this is an example of what not to do in this building.
Good to know.
I wanted to demonstrate.
So she followed up focus with
Carry
guile.
on.
And I take my empty can and drop it in the cart. Next to me.
Nice. So there's a clang that's much quieter shortly after the squeak. The clang carries 1 or 2 aisles over.
Carry on.
Yes. Next steps, literally and figuratively. What do you want to check out next?
You have any light sources?
Think grocery store with no food in it. That's what you're in.
But we heard the hum of refrigeration. That
Outside.
I can see
Well, yeah,
perfectly in the
inside
dark.
too, I guess. I mean,
Well, then you wouldn't need to carry one probably then.
so that
Yes.
to me, having a
That's
closed
pretty cool,
grocery
actually.
store with active refrigerators is interesting.
Let's go check it out. What, store
Wait,
room? Is that what you're thinking? Locker room?
Well, they might not be like in use, like refrigerating. They could just have some power going.
But they're still powered on. And why?
Let's go to the back room. Warehouse.
There's some food here. Let's go find it.
I'm hungry. Let's roll.
I
What are you
see
thinking,
Jamie?
Jamie? What are you thinking, Jamie?
I'm just thinking about my cloak of shadows. I see perfectly in the dark all the time. Is that correct? How do you say I have night vision?
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's interpret that. Unless there's specifics about it, does that mean you can see into dark places, or do you have to be in the dark place to see dark? Like, for example, if we're standing in the grocery store and the edges are darker than where you're standing, do you see them as clearly as you see it where you are? Or do you have to be in that space? You have to be in the cave to see that it's dark in there? I guess is kind of what I'm thinking.
That's a good question.
Because it may play out.
So
importantly
the
here.
rules text is you see perfectly in the dark and are immune to any potential effect of normal or magical darkness.
Okay.
Wow.
So I guess I would read that as vaguely as it sounds, that you can see the edges of the store, and we'll call it, it's a perception thing. You know it's darker there, but you can see fine. It's not that every place appears like it's in broad daylight to you. You know it's darker, but you can see it fine. As long as you choose to make out shapes or movement or whatever, you'll be able to do that. But in the meantime, really all that means is you can see the edges. And this is a good point to bring you into this. When Jamie looks around the edges of the store, you can actually see a little bit of that condensation or frost on the inside of freezer and refrigerator doors.
Okay.
So where the milk normally is, there isn't any product in there, but there's a little bit of condensation on the door.
So I would quietly tell that to them.
So does that mean you're going to play recon?
Yes. Which I have some questions about my stunts that I guess. So
Go for it.
In Cloak of Shadows, it also says additionally, and this is where it's more important, once per session you may declare that you automatically succeed at hiding from any non-magical attempt to spot you, provided you have a shadow nearby. How do I know when to use that? Like, how do I know when someone is trying to...
The way I would see that is one of those things where in a D&D game, right? And I'm going to keep referencing that because we have a common frame for that. But you see the goblins up ahead before they see you, and you want to hide. Bam, you hid automatically. No question about it. You rolled a 20, whatever it may be.
But like right now,
Non-magical,
I don't know if
Yeah.
anyone's watching us or not, so I wouldn't use that.
Not necessarily. And to me, that's what it comes down to. There has to be a situation where you want to hide rather than should I hide?
Right.
Right? Conceptually, that's the difference for me.
Right.
Now, you can play it however you want. Just explain it, and we make it go.
So unlike the monster hunter over here who can't keep quiet, I actually am a true hunter by nature.
Yeah.
So I
Real monster hunters don't give a shit.
I'm gonna just kind of sneak. I've told them what I saw and just kind of quietly
Okay.
work my way
Okay.
up towards the freezers.
Just for kicks, are you going to go around the right side, which is always produce, or the left side, which has normally beer and wine, and they kind of converge to meat and dairy towards the back?
Left side.
Okay.
Always left side.
Left is the devil's way. That's the way to go.
So in this case, what that does, just to kind of give more detail in the area inside the store, is you'll walk past where the registers were. Right, the fixtures are mostly still there. Nothing of value remains, but the surfaces themselves are there. You walk past that, and you're pretty much walking past all of the aisles, and there's nobody in the aisles. Every now and then, you might see a piece of something left over. We'll determine what that is if we need to, but something left over from the store. The sounds just stay a steady hum. The cart door that you guys came in closed behind you. You hear very little of the outside. Every now and then a big truck will pass by. There's a fire station nearby too. Every now and then you'll hear a big truck pass by, but you don't hear cars. You don't hear regular vehicles going by. You don't hear any people. Inside the store, as I had said, it's kind of a cavernous hollow sound because it's all metal or wooden surfaces and it's reflective. And the air itself just kind of smells of a cold must of a place that hasn't been occupied in a few months.
Yeah.
As you make your way around to that side where they would have had beers and ciders and stuff cooling on racks, from what you can tell there, those aren't on. It looks like from Jamie's view, only the places with doors themselves, none of the open areas. The cooling has cooling, only the places with doors. And you make your way up to the first set of refrigerated doors. And also, for that matter, it's only the outside of the store that has the power. So sometimes the ice cream and frozen meals and stuff are on an inner aisle. None of that is on. Only the outside. So you make your way to the first set of doors that are cold to the touch. What do you do? Presuming all of you guys are going along.
Yeah.
You're all
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
What's next?
So I'm going to nudge Father Vic over here. Kind of get my gun somewhat ready. And,
Point your
indicate that
gun
we
at
should
the
open the door.
priest. Yeah.
Are you opening the door?
Yeah, I think I would have you on my left being kind of ready, and then I would pull it back. I guess it would open to my right, maybe. Actually, that's backwards.
Depends,
If I'd be
yeah.
on the left, it would open this way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Whatever works. That works.
Aim
for me.
in.
Okay.
Because it's very odd.
shoot
that these
first.
the whole place is, and this is cold, so
Okay.
in a place with a magical word on it.
When you go to pull on the door, it feels like it's barred or something from the inside. You don't see any locking mechanism on the outside. And these doors normally don't lock, as far as you know. But there's something. It's almost like like a bar is across the door, but you don't see something. And when you pull it, there's a little like a thunk. When you try and pull it, it moves like a centimeter or so,
Right.
but
Hey.
it doesn't open.
Hammer
I know-
time. You got something?
Would I
us
know
in
this
here.
to be a physical, something physical holding
It
it?
sure feels physical.
Kick it.
It physically stops when you pull it,
Yeah.
like metal against metal.
From the
stopping
backside,
it.
though, like something
You
inside the door.
Well, you don't see anything in front of you.
Right.
Is probably a better way to put it. So it's probably in the back because it's not obvious in the front.
Hammer time.
To do what?
Da-na-na-na.
Hit the door.
You want me to smash the door in?
But it's a pull-open metal door. It's not
Where are we
a-
assuming that it could
Well,
be
no, the glass.
magically
These are the
worded there?
glass-facing ones.
This could be
You
magically
can
worded
smash
there.
the glass.
So when this was open as a grocery store, you're looking in the first door. This would have been the one that had all the different Budweisers, Bud Lime and Bud Light and everything in the first door.
It's like those freezer doors.
Yeah.
yeah.
But we can't see
But
anything
we can't
beyond
see
it.
past the frost. It's
It's a-
frosted, is that right?
There's condensation on it. Behind it is dark, and you cannot see in there.
So if you can't open it,
That's why I'm assuming it's something
You can
magical
open it.
related.
Right.
I mean, I'll tap it to see if it's warded.
Okay. Nothing obviously happens
Yeah.
about that. And when you pull on the door again, it still seems like it's blocked somehow from the inside.
stand back. I'm going to
Jim?
shoot it.
I thought I was going to say, can we just shoot the glass?
Or I
Smash it
can
loud.
smash the glass.
Yeah, let's go with that.
If you want to go that way.
That won't be
I
as
don't
loud.
know. Nobody has shot anything
I
yet.
haven't
Yeah.
shot anything yet, right?
So rather than just tap it,
Yeah.
I'll now actively seek to harm.
Okay. And I don't know technically what's in a freezer, but I'm going to call it's a pretty heavy-duty, double-pane,
Yeah.
tempered glass of
They
some
don't
type.
want anyone getting hurt from
Yeah.
it ever shattering.
Yeah.
Shatters into a million
So
pieces.
you hit it,
that go
yeah,
all over the floor.
exactly. It
Like
breaks
windshield
into all the
glass.
tiny pieces that aren't necessarily sharp. Although if you get them in your underwear, they can still cut you. Ask me how I know.
What the hell are you going in there?
That sounds like a fantastic story.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
that's
deal
gonna
with
be a
some
good one.
other time.
But
So much kinkier
So it
than
does-
he lets on.
it does break, and it's
you use
actually not
lube
kinky
first?
at all, unfortunately. So kind of around the outside of the door is that little crinkle bit of the glass that's held in place by the rubber sealer. But it makes plenty of noise. It's just like somebody dropped 1,000 pieces of
Yep.
tiny glass on the floor. And as soon as that happens, there's a cold smell of dirt and rotting stuff that kind of flows out of it.
I am instantly further on edge. 'Cause I've smelled this before.
And this is the kind of smell that makes a normal person gag immediately.
This is like
Decay.
graveyard decay.
Yeah, this is like, it's not just roadkill, it's several different roadkills, and they've been sitting on the road for 3 weeks.
They've been having sex
I mean,
with
we're
each other.
expecting zombies.
Having
so-
sex with each other.
Birthing other roadkills.
Necrophilia and necromancy. What an awesome episode.
Necrophiliancy.
Instant on edge. Draw my gun.
So you have
I'm
it
gonna kill
open,
something again.
and at that point, too, there is also, you hear a hissing sound from elsewhere in the stores, just kind of echoing around. But a hissing kind of like, it sounds like a person who got upset at something. Hissing.
Oh.
Not an animal hissing, not a snake. Just a...
And I thought it was going to be a boring weekend in Greer. Cock the gun. Let's roll.
You said you like high ground?
Prefer it.
climb to the top of the freezer case. See if you can see what that noise is.
Okay.
One of the shelving things around here.
Yeah, I mean, one of the interior freezer
Yeah.
cases. Yeah, you could climb up there.
Just be aware you're going to show your profile.
He's got a lovely profile from the left.
Right. So I would be able to get up there. And
Yep.
Do I see anything in particular?
You got crazy ninja skills.
So what I want to do here is, now that we've kicked off essentially a scene, we've been in a scene, but we're kicking off the part where it's going to start mattering.
Uh-huh.
Who's doing what? So I've got a couple of things here. You just broke the door open. You're going to scale a freezer
And I'm going
aisle.
to sit there like a hawk, ready.
What is Father Vicky doing?
I'm covering the closest, like, depending where we're at in the aisle, I want the...
Right at the beginning of the aisle.
So I want to cover that side because we can see further down, so I'm not worried about that yet.
Okay.
So I'm covering whatever's closest to something coming around the corner.
So towards the front of the store.
Yeah.
Essentially where you are would be where they have all the beers that are open in a cooling area that is currently not on, but that shelving that has cooling. You're facing that way, and that's where they have all the wine and stuff too, and you can see the main entrance and the windowed wall of the front from where you are.
Okay.
What is Maura up to?
Would have my back to Father Vicky because he's covering one area. I'm going to cover our rear.
Mm-hmm.
Gun out, kind of low and just just readied stance, ready to blow whatever it is that comes around. That sounded dirty. Blow away whatever comes in
Away.
around.
Okay, away
That
being the
aisle.
key word there.
Yes.
Okay. And for Cletus, is he just keeping an eye on the window he just smashed? The door he just
No,
smashed?
he's going to stick his head in the window and look up and down. Because there's compartments typically, right? Like there are usually 4 doors.
Yeah,
I just want to see what else is in this compartment.
And I am making up the behind the scenes of a grocery store as we go. If anyone else is familiar with it or wants to make up their own bit, let me know. What I'm starting at right here, unless you say
typically,
otherwise. Okay.
we're in the freezer section. So
You're in a cold section, not frozen.
Oh,
See, I thought it was in
No,
the
this is
frozen.
beers.
Refrigerated.
be a
Beers
big
are behind
refrigerator, and
this.
you can walk in there and see a bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
With
so
more shelves.
behind there is got to be a walkway where
Yeah.
somebody could be pushing a cart, grabbing
Yep.
cases of Budweiser, and
Yep.
putting it on the shelf.
Yep.
So there's space back there, and
Yep.
then the shelving that goes right up to the door.
Yeah, I've actually worked in a Walmart, so
Okay,
yeah.
cool. But that's the area we're looking at. We're not in
Those
a
are the
frozen
best days of
section.
your life, aren't they?
Oh yeah,
We're not in a frozen section at this time.
Underpaid.
I guess technically, let's just say it outright. I'll say it outright. The frozen section is the stuff in the middle of the store, and all that's powered off. We're in the
Peripheral.
yeah, the peripheral. So meats,
Perimeter.
cheeses, right? Meats, cheeses, dairy,
Eggs.
eggs,
The
beers,
butcher area. Okay.
stuff that might be behind a door. We're in that area around the outside of the grocery store. Everything in the middle is not powered. None of the aisles. So the actual freezer section is not powered. The actual freezer section. There might be
All right,
something
so
behind
then
the scenes.
I will step through the door then.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
And we'll say the shelves are gone just to make it easier.
yeah, and if
Okay.
they weren't, I would have smashed them out.
All right.
But
So
I want to know what's behind here.
as you're stepping through there, Jamie is climbing up the freezer. Jamie, because you can see over to the other side, oh, pardon me, you see, forgive me here, but read your able to see in the dark thing one more time, please.
Sure.
Because I'm trying
It
to
is
remember one key
Cloak-
piece of it.
Cloak of
156,
Shadows.
Yeah.
I think it is.
You want to know if it's magical or not magical?
Essentially, yeah. I want to hear what it reads.
I can see perfectly in the dark, and I'm immune to any potential effect of normal or magical darkness.
Okay.
And then additionally, once per session, I can hide if there's a shadow.
So on the far side of the store, which would essentially be where they might have like the lettuces and stuff like that, you see somebody clearly trying to be hidden, but it in darkness, but you can see through that. And what you see, just to get straight to the point, is what looks like a stereotypical voodoo witch doctor. You've got somebody down there. It might be a man or a woman. You can't tell from here, being 100+ feet away, but has some ceremonial headdress with maybe some bones sticking out of it, some brightly colored smock kind of thing. And it looks like this person is holding a couple of rag dolls in their hand.
This guy from the 7-Up commercials from the 80s.
Could be a guy from the 7-Up commercial.
Live and Let Die, James Bond movie.
Yes. Somebody got it.
I was thinking the newer ones. Make 7 up yours.
So I would signal down to them. I guess I could just say it, right? I mean, we're not at this point.
Yeah.
We're not really hiding.
As far as you could tell from your view, it is clear that that person over there knows you're here and is probably trying to prepare something.
Right. So I would say there's a shaman in produce.
There's
a shaman in produce.
We need shaman cleanup in aisle 2.
That's a code 42 in aisle
Right.
2.
I got some ShamWow for you, shaman.
Oh, dear God.
Shaman, wow.
Shaman.
You with the camera guy? Because I can't do this all day.
I'll look at Amora and be like, "You think you can sneak around behind him? I'll make some noise up front."
I'm always good at going behind.
He's always good at making noise up front. Go figure.
Okay.
All right. So you guys are going to split up to make that distraction diversion.
Yeah, I'll go to the
Going
guy
from
like
behind.
head on so he can see me.
Okay.
And I'll bring up the rear.
Because Cletus is right at the door, we're going to go to Cletus next. You're going to step through. The crinkle of the glass under your feet makes a little bit of noise, but it's kind of deadened as you're walking into this refrigerated area. And kind of at the edge of your vision is silhouettes of things just kind of standing there. And I say things because they're humanoid shaped, but sure don't smell humanoid.
Okay.
And pretty much, I say at the edge of your vision. In this place where you are, because you don't have any special sight, supernatural see in the dark sight, it's probably about 10 feet away. Different shapes and both sides. Like if you stepped a few feet in either direction, you could probably touch them, and they could probably
Yeah, I'll approach a little closer.
kill you.
Warily.
Okay. There's just like decaying corpses standing upright.
It's an undead army.
And they go about as deep as you can see.
Yeah.
So, and it really is the kind of smell where you see in movies where somebody's going to dab the Old Spice on the cloth and put it over their nose, is that you are knee deep in it, literally, or figuratively, or, however
Both.
figuratively.
Yeah, go to someone else real quick while I look at the rules.
And then, so Chris, you are approaching the witch doctor.
What's he
I
doing?
saw
the witch doctor. He showed
Ting
me
tang,
what
walla
to
walla,
do.
bing bang.
Yeah.
That's how you have to approach this witch doctor.
It'll be a fast walk, so I'm not losing
But you're also
eyes
going
on
to
my
do
sights.
it at such a speed that she's not going to be far behind, right?
Yeah, like
You're
I'm not running. It's more of a fast walk
Like a
because I don't
fast
want my
walk.
sights moving around too
Okay.
much.
Fast walk. You're going up the front. I'm going up the rear.
Yeah, I want to like.
Because she's going to take 10 or 15 seconds longer to get there going around the store. Even fast. Okay. So you see as you get a little closer, it's definitely a woman. And she is very full-figured, shall we say.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Does she have big boobies?
yeah, that and big other things as well.
Oh, my.
She's big all over. You bought a size 14.
She's about as wide as she is tall.
36, 24, 36. Only if she 5'3".
That song's awesome.
When you approach, she sees you, and she grabs one of the dolls that she's holding, looks at you, and then jabs a
I'll
pin.
start as soon
She
as I
jabs a
see
pin
that. I
into
want
it.
to start
Yeah,
shooting.
okay. Then let's try and work this out, because in this case, this is a conflict. We have violence erupting, and I should, and I'm on page 186 for those who want to follow. It is setting the scene. When violence erupts, the GM should pause the action to set the scene. Establish what exactly is occurring, where everyone is located, and what the environment is like. And I can write down a few situation aspects pertinent to the scene. To be fair, I already have aspects for this place and this person. So I have that already. I'm not writing them as I go. And then we're going to divide the area into zones. This one's important because the way Dresden Files Accelerated works, the way the Fate works, is when you're talking range, you're talking zones in this world. A pistol is a one-zone option. A rifle is a two-zone thing. We're going to set the zones as I'll call one produce. That's where the witch doctor is, where you're ending up, and where you being Father Vicky, and where Mora will end up. So those 3 characters are about to be in the produce zone. Then we're going to have what I'll call the refrigeration zone, and that right now is where Cletus and Jamie are. Okay, and then there is another zone, and for now we'll just call it rest of store. So there are 3 zones. And you guys are in zone 1 in produce, and the other 2 are in zone 3, and there's a zone 2 in the middle. So when it comes to this, there's space that we have to work through. I don't know if anybody actually wants to try. Actually, I'll do this quickly on a piece of paper here, and then we can put it on the table. I will put this out here. So essentially, I'm drawing a rectangle, and I have a 1, 2, and a 3 on it. And
your artistic skills are astounding.
It was very quick. It was like a 10-second job, man. But again,
You left her unsatisfied.
I did. The father, and the monster hunter are in zone 1. Zone 2 is the empty space in between, which again has a lot of fixtures and stuff from a grocery store. And then zone 3 is what we'll call the refrigerated section, and that's currently where Jamie and Cletus are. So we've now set the zones. What that will mean is when movement happens, essentially on your turn, as it were. Now, we don't have initiative, but when it's your time to do something, if you want to do something in another zone, pretty much your action is going to be going there to do it, unless you have something that reaches across more than one zone. Right?
Fire a bullet over there, I'll hit their ass.
Yeah, and now with a pistol, say you were firing across 2 zones, it becomes a lot less effective.
Got it.
In some cases, some weapons just don't work past 1 zone. Like throwing a rock is like a 1 in a million shot of hitting someone 2 zones away kind of thing. But now we're setting that zone and the movements. Now we determine the sides and objectives. In this case, I think it's pretty clear. We have the side of the bad person. We have our witch doctor and the zombies. They're on the same side. And the players are on the opposing side. And then the turn order. The way this is going to work is we're going to try it by the book again. This is page 187. Whoever acted first to initiate the conflict should act first in its resolution. So the character who lashes out with the first punch, insult, or spell, or whatever, is the first one. And in this case, we're going to make it as the father. Mm-hmm. Father Bartok is going to be the one rushing the shaman, witch doctor, voodoo practitioner.
Right.
So for that, it's going to be an opposed roll. So you're going to take one of your 4 basic actions. Now we got to look at actions. This is our first combat, so let's check that out. Does anyone have actions already in front of them? No, actually, let me point out, quick reference sheet has the actions on it, and it says they're on page 104 of the book, but the quick reference sheet actually talks about creating an advantage, attack, defend, and overcome. And they each have a description with them. I won't necessarily read them right off unless we end up needing to, but those are the actions that you would take. It sounds to me like the father is just going to shoot.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
All right, so that sounds like an attack.
Definitely.
And we get a roll that goes along with that. So what is your approach for the attack? Because it's an action, so you still have to decide.
I guess I would have to... focus would probably make more sense. Because force, I'm not like...
So you have to...
Force seems like more physical action than...
You were partially rushing, right, but not necessarily...
No, just more
running.
of a fast walk, yeah, because
right.
I don't want to lose... So I want to focus on sites that make the hits.
So you may slow down a step when
I can even plant and shoot and then move again.
Okay. So that's how we will treat it. Now let's do that roll, because you're going to shoot, and she is going to try not to be hit. Yeah. Because, well, that's how it works.
Serpentine.
He's an alligator. Why not?
So it's going to be 4.
I have this many.
5.
I have 5. So the first shot just goes a little wild, and maybe it's because of the sharp pain you feel in your left shoulder just as you squeeze the trigger. It's kind of like someone stuck a needle in it. Yeah.
Finish her.
Yes.
Yeah, like I kind of threw. Ugh.
Yep. So that is essentially is her action at this time. Now we were treating this as Mora was going to be coming up behind at almost the same time he was reaching the father was reaching the voodoo lady. What is she up to? The shot goes off. I don't know if there's a noise from the father as a pin pokes into his shoulder.
It wouldn't be loud enough to hear over the gunfire.
Okay.
But the father shot first, so I'm going to follow suit.
Okay.
Turn around. I heard him shoot.
Yep.
See kind of the general direction he's shooting. Would I see the shaman? Or
Yep.
Shaw person?
Shaw person. I don't think there's such a thing as a Shaw woman.
Equal
I think it's still a
opportunity.
shaman, whether you're a man or
Fuck
female.
it. It's 2017. Shaw woman.
Shaw woman is what it is.
Voodoo priestess.
Yes.
Voodoo priestess. So I see
I actually wrote it as voodoo practitioner to be generic.
to be
Okay.
generic.
Yes.
So I would shoot in the general direction of the voodoo practitioner.
There you go.
Fuck it. Blow her brains out. I
Okay.
would use force, brute strength, rather than subtlety, because
Okay.
there is no subtlety here. Pull out my Glock and Glock 18 and shoot at her.
Yeah, I imagine force would be the
Yeah.
aspect of choice for.
Shoot first.
I
ask
mean, I
questions
could have
later.
used that and would have tied you. I didn't know, but
No.
force didn't make sense to me. It seems like more of a like physical hands-on attack.
Machine gun.
Yeah.
Handling a machine gun would be force.
And let me throw something out there.
Well,
There is no subtlety. I'm just.
Because this was more of a coordinated effort between
Yeah.
the characters. Something that probably could have made sense and something to consider as we move forward is one of the actions is create an advantage. So you could have tried to put an aspect onto the practitioner of distracted.
Yes, that was my
Right,
plan.
which
originally.
then that's what you're rolling for. You're not
Yeah.
necessarily rolling to shoot,
Yeah,
but
gotcha.
rolling to distract.
Right.
And then the distracted aspect is something that Mora would invoke
Gotcha.
or compel, whatever the right
Compel.
wording is, in order to get an advantage on her roll.
All right.
So
That
then
makes
she would be the one shooting and using the advantage that you created.
sense. Gotcha.
And we're not doing that this time, but that's
Yeah.
one way that this works is kind of setting each other up for success. But go ahead with your attack, Mora.
So
Oh, I got to roll too.
shot at my friend.
Ooh.
What the fuck, man?
Not better over here. I'll tell you that.
2
much.
minuses versus my force, which is +3, so I got 1.
So
I had a 2.
So Mickey, always. Look, you have 3 refresh points.
Oh, I
If
forgot
you
we
can,
had those.
if you
You
can,
know what? Let's talk about that as we pick up
We
the
all have
next
3 refresh
episode
points?
because we're going to leave this one on a cliffhanger.
Wait, there's
All
more,
right.
though.
as
Oh,
we're
God.
shooting at the shamanessening practitioner.
Shamanamanamanamana.
Ding dong.
Sha-na-na.
Thanks for listening.
And we will wrap this episode up here. We will pick right back up on this with our next episode of Adventures from the Shed. In the meantime, we will all say
Hasta luego.
Bye.
Sayonara.
Arrivederci. Ciao. Mwah.
Ciao, ciao.
ciao. Ciao, ciao.
The preceding podcast was brought to you by One Joe Young. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com.